Good afternoon, everybody. A warm welcome to all the attendees to the webinar on Sydney and New South Wales. Before we begin the webinar, we would like to thank you all for taking out your valuable time to attend the webinar. We are now joined by Ms. Pooja Razdan, Business Development Manager, India, Destination New South Wales, which is the State Tourism Board and event agency of the Government of New South Wales. She will offer insights into the various tourist offerings of the Sydney and New South Wales. Ms. Razdan, a marketing professional, has worked in the field of destination marketing for over 9 years, promoting and working with international tourism boards. Mr. Paramjeet Bawa, Country Manager, India for Destination New South Wales, will be addressing all your queries simultaneously. You can submit your queries in the chat box which is seen at the corner of your screen. Mr. Baba, a marketing professional who has run the gamut of products and services in a career spanning more than 24 years, finally found his calling in tourism destination marketing. He markets the state and its capital Sydney as a preferred destination of choice to the Indian outbound traveler. Just a quick note on logistics. You are all kept on mute mode, and in case if you have any queries, please type in your queries in the chat box and your questions will be answered as soon as possible. One important announcement. Top 2 travel agents will be taken on a fam trip to Sydney. In order to be eligible for this, it is compulsory that one attends the entire webinar, after which you will be asked to register for a quiz. The quiz will consist of 10 questions and the pass percentage is 80%. The link to the quiz will be available in your chat box soon. We will also be mailing out the link for the quiz post-webinar. One has to complete the quiz before 15th July 2017, 6 p.m. We hope you find this webinar informative. Over to you, Pooja.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pooja Razdan and I work with Destination New South Wales. Over the next 1 hour, I hope to take you through, and give you more information about our beautiful destination and hopefully help you learn how to sell it better to your clients. During the duration of this webinar, if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat box. Or even if you think of any questions later, we will send you our email address and other details and you can get in touch with us and we will be happy to assist you. Okay, so before we start talking about what New South Wales has to offer as a destination, let's take a look at where exactly we are located. As you can see currently on your computer screen and on the map of Australia, that we are actually located towards the southeast coast, and New South Wales is strategically located between Queensland and Victoria. Sydney is our capital city and one of the most popular cities for travelers traveling especially from India to Australia. Sydney is also, as most of you must already be knowing, is home to the two most globally iconic structures in Australia and in the world, the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So, while you are drafting itineraries for your clients, do ensure that both these iconic structures are a definite, inclusion in your itinerary. But besides Sydney, New South Wales also has a number of surrounding regions which are easily accessible via self-drive or via seat and coach tours, namely the Blue Mountains, Hunter Valley, Port Stephens, Central Coast, Wollongong. We'll take you through it in the next few slides and help you draft itineraries, help you plan your itineraries better so that you can include a couple of these regions as well in your New South Wales itineraries. As you can see, this is an image of Sydney with the Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera House. Talking a little more about our world famous icons, when drafting your Sydney itinerary, do make sure that you include, a bridge climb in your, while you're in your Sydney itinerary. Just to let you know, there are three types of bridge climb, but amongst all, the most popular climbs for Indians is the express climb and the sampler climb. The express climb takes about 2.5 hours from start to finish. You might think that this is a long time, but trust me, it is not that strenuous, and it is actually for anybody of any fitness level. If your clients are in short of time and yet want to experience a bridge climb, then we recommend doing a sampler climb, which will last you about 1.5 hours. Um, Once you are on top, or once your clients are on top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the views that they can get from there are incomparable to views that they can get from anywhere in Sydney. They can see the Opera House and they can get superb views from right on top of the iconic Harbour Bridge. So I think a bridge climb is almost mandatory while planning your Sydney itinerary. Climbs are done throughout the day, so depending on how much time your clients have in the morning or in the evening, and it's almost done through all weather conditions as well, because if it's raining, then you're provided with a raincoat and things like that. So it's almost done 365 days in all weather conditions, and yeah, throughout the day as well. Again, I know most of you do include a site, take your clients to the Opera House when they are in Sydney, but I cannot stress this enough that you must include an inside tour of the Opera House or a performance in the Opera House, and not just, visiting the Opera House from the outside. Once they go inside, they will see what this iconic structure is about. Maybe they can attend an opera performance, they can enjoy a drink at the opera bar, which is right outside the opera house, or they can experience one of fabulous restaurants. They can have dinner or they can experience high tea. There are so many things to do, and not just stop for a photo stop and move ahead. Besides our globally popular icons, the Sydney Harbour is again a must-do on your Sydney itinerary. Now, the Sydney Harbour can be showcased in various ways depending on the interest of your clients. They can do a simple harbour cruise. They can go sailing. They can, if they are slightly more adventurous, they can go for jet boating. That will take twists and turns right in the middle of the harbor. Most jet boats are equipped with GoPro cameras, so they actually take videos of you while you are in the jet boat. And of course, the ever famous and the ever popular showboat, which is an evening dinner cruise, as I'm sure most of you know, along with cabaret performances and Indian food on board. So there are various ways in which you can showcase Sydney Harbour and its experiences to your clients. Another way to see Sydney from the top could be a visit to the Sydney Tower Eye. The Sydney Tower Eye is almost on the same height as the Eiffel Tower, and there are three experiences that it mainly offers. One is, of course, the observation deck, where your clients can get up an elevator and get fantastic views of the city. The other option is that of a skywalk, which you can see on the screen as well, where your clients get harnessed and are sort of they come out of the observation deck, and they sort of feel like they are up in the air, but actually they are very well harnessed and very well and very secure. But it's a soft adventure experience. The Sydney Tower Eye also offers a 4D cinema ride where your clients can get in and enjoy a 4D cinema experience. Some of the signature Sydney experiences do include a seaplane ride. We have a seaplane terminal from where your clients can embark upon a 30-minute journey. However, if your clients are short of time or on restricted budgets, there are options of doing shorter rides at cheaper rates as well. Any of your ITOs will have all this information with them. But seaplanes work really well to get beautiful views of the city while just taking off from the Sydney Harbour. Over the next few slides, I'll try and show you some different ways of exploring Sydney that you can recommend to your clients. Of course, we have the free city shuttle where your clients are welcome, which your clients are welcome to use. It runs within CBD and it's free of cost, and it runs every 10 minutes in both directions. This is a map which shows you um, the places where the free shuttle actually runs. And just like any other city in the world, we also have the hop-on, hop-off bus where your clients can buy their tickets, and we have the red and blue route which they can follow and explore the city on their own. Sydney has some of the coolest beaches in Australia. I'm sure most of you would have already heard of Bondi Beach and Manly Beach. And we strongly recommend that you allow your clients some time to spend on our beautiful beaches. Now I understand that all Indians may not be, wanting to swim in the sea, but there are various other activities that you can do on the beach. You can learn how to surf. You can do a surfing lesson, which is for beginners, so it's not difficult at all. You can offer them coastal walks, which give you superb views and you don't really even get into the water. Bondi Beach has fantastic restaurants, especially a restaurant called Iceberg, which gives you amazing views where you can offer, lunch to your clients where they can sit, enjoy the views and grab a bite. Or they can do activities like cycling along the coastline. As I mentioned, they can do coastal walks. So there's lots to do other than just swimming in the sea. Australia also works as a very important family destination from India. We have a lot of people that travel with children and are often asking us, for things to do in Sydney. And these are our recommendations. Definitely a visit to Sea Life Sydney, which is our aquarium, very well located on the Darling Harbour, and it's got about more than 12,000 varieties of marine animals. They also have a shark enclosure with glass on one side, so you actually feel like you're really up and close to a shark, but you're very safe because there is a thick glass right in between you and the shark. Currently, there is also a Great Barrier Reef exhibit going on. For those of you who are not moving forward to Queensland, you can get an experience of the Great Barrier Reef right here in Sydney. And the aquarium's newest product is the penguin ride, where it's a sort of a trolley which you sit on and they take you into an enclosure where you can actually see penguins. It's their newest and most latest ride, and it's really exciting because you get to see a lot of penguins all around the way. As I'm sure that you already know, any visit to Australia is incomplete if your clients haven't spotted a koala bear or come up and close personal with kangaroos and other Australian species of animals. Again, located right next to the aquarium is Wildlife Sydney, where they can go and get an experience, click pictures with koalas, click pictures with over 100 species of Australian animals, see kangaroos, the Tasmanian devils, and the best part is this is all located right one after the other in Darling Harbour. So you're centrally located. You're not wasting too much time on transfers, and yet you're offering authentic Aussie experiences to your clients. Strongly recommended for families is a visit to the Taronga Zoo in Sydney. Taronga Zoo is one of the largest zoos in Australia. In fact, it is so big that it is actually located on an island, and you can not only go there by road, but you can also take a water transfer to get to Taronga Zoo. As you can see in the image, it offers fabulous views of the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge and over 2,600 animals. Yes, all the Aussie animals like the koala, kangaroo, Tasmanian devil, etc. are all there. But besides that, they also offer some experiences like the Roar and Snore program. Now, the Roar and Snore program is actually a luxury tent experience where you can stay in tents in the zoo, wake up in the morning, go for a behind the scenes tour of the zoo, and then leave, and go back to Sydney after breakfast. If your clients are interested in seeing, Aboriginal, understanding more about the Aboriginal culture, they can do an Aboriginal wildlife tour, which shows you the link between Aboriginal people, their culture, and wildlife. And especially for mice groups, they also have something which is called wild ropes. That's an obstacle climbing race where you actually get on the top, and once you're right on the top after you've covered all the obstacles, you can actually click the perfect selfie because it has a black button at the bottom which you press with your leg, and it automatically clicks a picture of you with the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge at the back. So if you want the perfect selfie for your clients, they must get on the wild ropes in Taronga Zoo. For all those of you who have seen the movie Dil Chahta Hai, I'm sure you have seen Luna Park because that's the amusement park that was shown in the movie. The best part about this park is that it has free entry. Your clients only pay for some rides and a few other attractions. This park is really old. It opened in 1935, but it has a lovely harborside location. They also, you also have the opportunity to book it for private dinners or for mice groups. They also offer something which is called the Ferris wheel dinner, where you can book a 7-course meal in the Ferris wheel. So if you have a couple or a honeymoon couple, they can actually be going in the Ferris wheel for about 2 to 3 hours and do a wine and a 6 or 7 course meal while they're in the Ferris wheel. So it works really nicely, especially for honeymoon couples. And if there are senior citizens traveling with families, they don't even have to pay because it's free. They can, sit around while their family pays for a few attractions and enjoys the theme park. It is almost given that Indians love shopping, and Sydney is the mecca for shopping in Australia. We have everything to offer for everybody's needs. So if your clients like big fancy malls, weekend markets, flea markets, factory outlet stores, it's all available. We're happy to recommend places to shop at. If you just drop us an email, and I can send you a list of various malls and factory outlets which you can share with your clients later. Besides shopping, Indians are also keen on nightlife, and that is again something that Sydney has to offer. Whether it is gambling at the Star Casino, watching an evening cabaret show on the Sydney Showboat, or just chilling in one of the lounges. Again, as I mentioned before, happy to share with you a list of trendy night clubs, lounges, discos, etc. If you'd like to recommend to your clients, just drop me an email and I will share the list with you. For those of your clients who are looking at seeing Sydney differently, an option could be on a Harley Davidson. Of course, you don't ride it, but you get chauffeured on the Harley Davidson, and your driver or your rider works as your tour guide. So he constantly gives you commentary on, what is, takes you around the city, and also stops at various places so that you can get photo stops everywhere. So it's a really cool way of seeing the city for clients who are looking at doing something different. For those of you who aren't very well aware about Sydney, I'll have you know that Darling Harbour is the main entertainment center in Sydney. I mean, a lot of places of attraction, a lot of restaurants, all located close to the Darling Harbour. So if you're looking to choose accommodation options for your clients, this somewhere close to the Darling Harbour would be a great idea if you want to avoid too much of commute. Some more attractions that we have to offer, amongst which the Sydney Fish Market is another option if your clients would be interested in something like this. It is the second largest fish market in the world, and if your clients are enthusiastic enough to wake up really early in the morning, they can actually go and see the fish auction that happens early in the morning when the fish has just been brought over from the coast, and they can eat the freshest seafood ever right there in the fish market. I think something more popular amongst the Indians would be a tour of the Sydney Cricket Ground. I'm sure most of us are passionate about the sport, and a tour to the iconic Sydney Cricket Ground would be a must-do. Besides just visiting the ground, you have the option of doing a behind the scenes tour or offering that to your clients, and you also get a chance to actually go into the dressing room, and if there's no game going on, go right into onto the ground and play in the nets, and it's really exciting, especially for cricket lovers. For all those of you who have honeymooners as clients, you can offer a variety of romantic experiences, like hiring private yachts for sailing on the Sydney Harbour, offering romantic dinner spots at waterfront views with views of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. You can also offer a private bridge climb at twilight. And it's beautiful, and we have a few honeymoon itineraries as well, so if you write to me, I'm happy to share them with you. For all those of you who have elite and luxury clients who are interested in doing something different, again, Sydney has a lot of luxurious experiences to offer, from boutique shopping tours to hiring a personal stylist who takes you shopping, roaming around Sydney in chauffeured luxury cars like Rolls-Royce, etc., doing personal self-drive tours in Porsches or other luxury vehicles. So there's lots to offer in Sydney, from bicycle tours to luxury tours. It all depends as to what your clients want, and we're happy to help you tailor make itineraries just for them, depending on what their choice is. This slide is mainly an accommodation update. As I mentioned, though it would be nice if your clients are in the CBD, because that just saves them some time from going from one venue to another or one attraction to another. But there are a lot of other venues a lot of other locations as well, which are not far away from the CBD and yet offer good rates and options for your clients to stay at. The Sydney Intercontinental Sydney Double Bay recently opened its doors, and it's just 5 kilometers away from the CBD. Again, happy to recommend accommodation options depending on your client's budgets to you. Just get in touch with me. Our website, which we will share with you at the end of the presentation, also has an accommodation search option. So you just share, you key in whatever your client's requirements are, and it throws up a list of accommodation options that your clients can choose from. Some of our major key properties include the Darling, which is a five-star boutique hotel. It is a part of the Star Casino that you may have seen, or the Star establishment, which you may have seen in the previous slides. It's a five-star facility and very, very close to the casino. So if your clients are into gambling or visiting the casino, then this would be a best option for you. The Park Hyatt, the best part about booking the Park Hyatt is that almost every room at the Park Hyatt offers fabulous views of the Sydney Opera House. So it's very iconic in that way. Um, it's a lovely location on the rocks and is a luxury boutique hotel. Coming to Vivid Sydney, for all those of you who are not aware, Vivid Sydney is our very famous light and sound festival, which takes place for about 2 to 3 weeks every year between mid-May to mid-June in Sydney. During this time, the city center, as you can see in these images, lights up. So we light up the Harbour Bridge, the Opera House, everything in the CBD has light installations, light and sound installations, and it's actually a free public exhibition. So if you have clients who are visiting Sydney during mid-May to mid-June, it is the ideal time of the year because they will get to witness something that they have never seen before, which is Vivid Sydney. The festival just gets larger and larger each year and currently is the largest festival of its kind in the whole world. So it's iconic and it is a must recommend, it's a must for you to recommend this to your clients traveling to Sydney in that duration. Moving out of Sydney and coming a little bit to the surrounds, um, starting with Blue Mountains, which I'm sure most of you are already aware of and are very actively selling. Blue Mountains is actually a region which is just 2 hours away from Sydney. It's also called as Australia's Grand Canyon, and it's very famous for the three sisters that you can see in the image right in front of you right now. It's also a World Heritage. It was listed in World Heritage in 2000, in the year 2000. Now, Blue Mountains has an attraction called as Scenic World. At Scenic World, there are 4 ways in which you can see, or your clients can see, the iconic Three Sisters. So you have the option of the Skyway, the Walkway, the Cableway, or the most exciting option, which is the Railway. Now, the most exciting option is the railway because the entire train is made up of glass. It's covered with glass on all sides, so your clients get superb views. Not only do they get superb views, but the train is also one of the steepest trains in the world, and it has an incline. Your seat inclines all the way at the back and all the way in the front. So you get fabulous views of the Three Sisters, and it is really exciting as well. Another way to see Blue Mountains can be on Segway or trolley tours as well. lot of you have been selling Blue Mountains as a day trip. I highly recommend that you increase it to a one-nighter at least. What happens is when you include Blue Mountains for one night, not only can you include a trip to Featherdale Wildlife Park, which is on the way from Sydney to Blue Mountains, where your clients can come up close and personal with koalas, kangaroos and other Australian species of animals, and can also visit Jenolan Caves, which are the world's oldest open caves. It's a beautiful experience where they can do a short tour of about an hour and a half, and then come back and spend the night in Blue Mountains. These are just some images of the villages in the Blue Mountains region. As you can see, it's a very small, quaint town with a lot of things to do, a lot of Indian restaurants as well, so food is never going to be an issue. And of course, for couples or families that are looking at doing something different, it also offers farm stay options where you can live on a farm. You can go fruit picking and see farm animals, and it works really well, especially for families who have children, because it's quite exciting. Accommodation options in Australia, in New South Wales, are actually available depending on your client's budgets. From hostels to high-end luxury properties, everything is available. These are some of the few options of accommodations that are available in the Blue Mountains. This is our latest property in the Blue Mountains. It's called the Hydro Majestic, and you can see by the sheer size of it that there are a lot of rooms. Besides the rooms, it also offers a lookout point. So from the hotel itself, you can actually see the Three Sisters. Another region aside from the Blue Mountains is the Central Coast. Now, Central Coast is an hour's drive from Sydney and often works as a stopover for people who are driving from Sydney right up to Hunter Valley and Port Stephens. It is truly an adventure playground with its main attraction being the Glenworth Valley. The Glenworth Valley works really well, especially if you have mice groups, because you can get them to do competing activities like horse riding, quad biking, kayaking, etc. You can also go horse riding, and it is so Glenworth Valley is actually Australia's largest horse riding and outdoor adventure center. So if your clients are driving up from Sydney to Hunter Valley or Port Stephens, or looking for a really short self-drive experience, then I think Central Coast would be the best way to the best place to send them from Sydney. They also offer pelican feeding for free. So if your clients are around 3:30 p.m. in the Central Coast, then they can go in and feed pelicans for free. Another must-do at the Central Coast includes a visit to the Australian Reptile Park. It is actually an award-winning zoo where you have the option to play with kangaroos, you can feed them, you can take pictures with koalas, you can take pictures with huge pythons on you, walk with dingoes, play with tortoises, do a bushwalking, a bushwalking tour. So there are lots of things to do there, and that's why we always recommend staying at least one night or offering your clients at least one night in Central Coast, because there are so many things to do there. particularly for your clients that like adventure. They also have one of Australia's steepest zip liners there. So your clients can go on these zip line tours, and we can share more details with you if you're interested. Some accommodation options in Central Coast. Of course, as I mentioned, depending on your client's budget, there is something for everybody. Just log into our website and fill in your details, and the search engine will throw up the best options for you. Moving forward to Hunter Valley, which again is 2 hours drive from Sydney towards the north. It's actually Hunter Valley is Australia's oldest wine producing region. It's home to over 120 wineries. And if your clients love wine, or just want to get away from the city into a quieter space, Hunter Valley is the best option for you. It's full of fine dining, gourmet shopping, the Hunter Valley Gardens, which are so big, you actually need to go to see the entire garden. You actually need to sit in a train, which takes you around. Each space of the garden is actually themed differently, including there is an Indian mosaic garden, there's a Chinese garden, there's a garden called a storybook garden, which is for children. So it's a great place to spend, half a day seeing these various gardens. Post which you can offer a shopping experience in the quaint shops in Hunter Valley. They produce a lot of their local chocolate, cheese, wines of course, so your clients can go shopping. And of course, a visit to Hunter Valley would be incomplete without a visit to one of the wineries to see how wine is made, maybe offer them, private wine tour, a lunch in the winery, a wine and a wine tasting session. There are a lot of options for you to offer your clients. Besides that, there is also an option of hot air ballooning right over the wineries. I think this would be a memorable experience for your clients, where they sail sort of right on top of the wineries and get the best views of Hunter Valley, which includes breakfast. And the only thing is they have to wake up really early in the morning. And post the tour, post the hot air ballooning ride, a champagne breakfast is also offered. The price on this is just indicative on the slide, and of course will be very different for travel agents who are looking to book, via their DNC. Other Hunter Valley experiences, of course, include horse riding, golfing, cooking lessons, chocolate making, learning more about wines, etc. Some options to stay in the Hunter Valley. The Tower Lodge is a luxury five-star experience in the Hunter Valley, and it has two of the best restaurants in the region. So you actually have can choose between dining in the middle of a winery or dining in the wine cellar. So this is something that you can really offer to your clients. There are people that go all the way from Sydney just to have a meal at their restaurants. So if your clients are really into wine and interested, please offer them one of these experiences. Moving forward to Port Stephens. Port Stephens is actually known as the dolphin capital of Australia because you can really spot a lot of dolphins, and in the season whales as well. It is only 2.5 hours from Sydney, and it's home to the freshest oysters in New South Wales. The best way to watch dolphins in Port Stephens would be embarking on a dolphin or a whale watching cruise. Whale watching, however, is seasonal and is limited only from May to November. The best part about this cruise for Indians is also that Indian food is available on board. So they offer you lunch with an Indian experience. You get delicious Indian food while watching the dolphins. As you can see that little picture at the bottom of your screen, that's something which is called as boom netting. So while your cruise is, in the middle of the harbor, it stops and this net is lowered down from the boat onto sea level. You just sit in that net and dolphins come and swim right next to you. So I think there is no better way of getting up close and personal to dolphins, and this is an experience that you really need to include for your clients, because trust me, they will come back wanting for more. After going for the dolphin cruise, you can also offer a quad biking experience in the sand dunes at Port Stephens for your clients. Due to its beautiful views, because on one side you can see the coast and on one side you're riding in the sand dunes. The dunes are pretty high, 40-50 meters, and they're just beautiful. The views that you can get from right on top of the sand dunes are just spectacular. You also have the option of riding in 4WD vehicles where you can drive across the sand dunes as well. But quad biking definitely adds a little more zest to your adventure. Besides this, of course, you can go parasailing and experience the thrill of other water sports in Port Stephens as well. But I think the star attraction at Port Stephens would be this Australian Shark and Ray Centre. As you can see in the image right next to you, you can get into the water and hand feed baby sharks. Not only do you hand feed baby sharks, but you have giant stingrays swimming right next to you. You're feeding them, they're swimming right next to you. It's adventurous and it's a lot of fun. Even children can get in there with no problem at all. Some accommodation options at Port Stephens. Moving further to the far north coast of New South Wales is a place called Byron Bay. Byron Bay is about an hour's flight from Sydney. There is also a self-drive route available, but that will take you about 2 nights at least to get to Byron Bay. In fact, Byron Bay is so north of Sydney that it is actually very close to Gold Coast. It is only 45 minutes away from Gold Coast, and often a lot of people come from Gold Coast to do day trips in Byron Bay. There are a lot of activities that one can offer in Byron Bay to their clients. You can visit the tropical fruit world where they take you on a bus and show you how they grow hundreds and thousands of varieties of fruits. Uh, you can take a crab tour where you can catch crabs and eat them for lunch. You can do adventure, you can go surfing, you can go skydiving, a lot of adventure sports. For your clients who are not interested too much in adventure, they can visit the Byron Bay Lighthouse. They can visit a place called Crystal Castle, which has got peaceful gardens, good for meditation. So there's lots to offer for everyone looking to do different things. Byron Bay also has great nightlife. So if your clients like to party, Byron Bay is definitely the place in Australia to go to. As I was saying, they can go kayaking. For those who are afraid of going kayaking in the sea, Byron Bay also offers river kayaking options, which are more calm than going into the sea. They can go skydiving. They can take a trek up to Mount Warning. There are national parks where they can go and have their own barbecue lunches. We're happy to walk you through, Byron Bay itineraries, things to do. If you're interested, again, just get in touch with us, and we're happy to help you with creating some itineraries. Some properties at Byron Bay. The two main five-star properties in Byron Bay would be the Byron at Byron, which is a beautiful rainforest sort of resort with luxury accommodation and 92 suites. And there is one more which is called the Elements, which is getting quite popular in the Indian market. Again, standalone suite style accommodation. And Elements also has their private beach. Moving forward to the south of Sydney, so all the places that we spoke about now, from Hunter Valley to Port Stephens to Byron Bay to Central Coast, were all towards the north of Sydney. Talking a little bit towards the south, 1 hour south, if you travel 1 hour towards the south from Sydney, you reach a new place which is called as Wollongong. Wollongong is a region where there is again lots to do. It's got a lovely coastline, and the best way to see the Grand Pacific Drive, which is the drive from Sydney to Melbourne, is via Harley Davidson bikes. So just like we have offered in Sydney, you can do the same in Wollongong as well. You can hire a rider who will take you along a Harley Davidson all along the beautiful Grand Pacific Drive. Again, in Wollongong, you have the option of skydiving on the beach. You can hang glide. You can do a lot of adventure activities. Or if your clients are not into too much of adventure, Wollongong also has the largest microbrewery in Australia, which has over 10 different kinds of in-house beers. Wollongong also has Australia's premier rainforest experience, where, as you can see in the image lowest to your screen, you have the option of walking over like 500 meters walk all across a beautiful rainforest. In fact, the Illawarra Fly Treetop Walk recently won an award as well as Australia's premier rainforest experience. And it's all so close to Sydney, just an hour away from Sydney. Jervis Bay is a region which is 1 hour south of Wollongong, so it works out to be about 2.5 hours away from Sydney. And it's home to Hyams Beach, which is actually which was awarded as one of the whitest and the cleanest beaches in the world. You also have the opportunity, just like Port Stephens, to to embark on a dolphin watch cruise in Jervis Bay, and of course you can whale watch during the season as well. As we discussed earlier on how Indians are, cricket lovers, just 2.5 hours away from Sydney is a small town called Bowral. Bowral is actually the birthplace of Sir Donald Bradman, and there is an international cricket museum which has been dedicated not only to him but also to basically to cricket. So you can see a lot of references of Indian cricket as well. You can see pictures of Sachin Tendulkar and of various other cricketers, and it's a very interactive and a very interesting museum. So Bowral works as a great stopover if you are doing a self-drive towards the south from Sydney to Jervis Bay, Bowral, back to Sydney. Some accommodation options in the Wollongong region. Some in the south coast. The paperback camp is actually a luxury camping experience that you can offer your clients. The Shoalhaven region, which is the region that we were talking about right now, where Jervis Bay is located, is actually located on New South Wales south coast. It's just got a mixture of everything, as we mentioned, from dolphin watching cruises to vineyards, magnificent beaches, great seafood, adventure spots, whale watching during the season. And as you can see from the image right in front of you, it's a beautiful, untouched, location. So including, 1 or 2 nights in addition to a Sydney itinerary works really well, because you package all of New South Wales and you give them an experience that offers, city sites like the ones in Sydney, and then you move out into the region and offer them some peaceful experiences. As I mentioned before, Paperback Camp is located 2.5 hours drive south of Sydney, and it's actually 12 canvas safari type tents, which are luxurious, and a great experience. Paperback Camp. It works really well for clients that are interested in comfortable adventure. It's more of a glamping sort of thing. Another accommodation option, Rick Stein, a very famous British chef, has actually started his own restaurant and motel in the Shoalhaven region, which is called Bannisters by the Sea. And they offer some of the freshest seafood in the region at their restaurant. I think the best way to see New South Wales, particularly the regions, would be via self-drive. Um, New South Wales has one of the most has the most stunning self drives in the world, whether it is the legendary Pacific Coast, which is the drive between Sydney and Brisbane or Sydney and Gold Coast, or the drive from Sydney right up to Melbourne, which is the Grand Pacific Drive, or even if it is as short as driving from Sydney to the Blue Mountains or Hunter Valley or Port Stephens and back to Sydney. We have some of the best and safest self-drive routes in Australia. I'll have you know that the Indian license, as long as it is in English, is perfectly okay to drive in New South Wales. No additional permit, no additional license required. So you can just hire a car and take off. To make it easy for your understanding, we have created two self-drive triangles. As you will see, the orange triangle covers the north coast. So you can visit Sydney. From Sydney, you can drive to Central Coast, Hunter Valley, Port Stephens, back to Sydney. You also have the option of going from Port Stephens to Byron Bay over a couple of days, of course. Happy to share these itineraries with you at a later stage if you send me your email address. And we have the South Triangle, which is Sydney to Wollongong to Jervis Bay, Southern Highlands, Blue Mountains, and back to Sydney. You also have the option of including, because of its proximity to Sydney, Blue Mountains can be included in the Northern Triangle or the Southern Triangle, or you can also offer just a self-drive to Blue Mountains and back. All these options are available. And just in case your clients are not interested in self-driving, we also have airports located at a lot of the smaller places in New South Wales, including one which is located in Newcastle, which gives you direct access from Newcastle to anywhere else in Australia and of course back to Sydney. These are low-cost airlines which offer really reasonable fares. So you can actually fly from Sydney to Newcastle, do an advent, you can spend some time in Port Stephens, Hunter Valley, and from Newcastle fly to your next destination. It could be Byron Bay or it could be anywhere in Australia. So if your clients are not interested in self-drive or are not looking to self-drive, always remember that you can still offer various regions in New South Wales with the option of such airports. These are just sample itineraries that we have created to give you an idea of the driving distance and driving times between one or two regions. As you can see, nowhere does the driving time increase more than 2.5 hours. So your clients are never going to be too tired and the roads are fantastic without any traffic. So it's just going to be a beautiful experience for them. This itinerary is particularly themed around the wine country and adventure route. So you can see you covering Hunter Valley, Port Stephens, Central Coast, and back to Sydney. Um, these are the various activities that you can offer to your clients in these regions. However, if your clients have other interests, again, I'm happy to help you adapt these itineraries depending on your client's preferences. And this one towards the south covers Wollongong, Jervis Bay, Southern Highlands, Blue Mountains, and back to Sydney, mainly around coastal discovery and nature. Um, Again, just like the one in the north coast, you see you're not driving at all more than about 120, 130 kilometers. So it's a very relaxed itinerary. And if your clients want to reduce the number of days, you can easily do that by just increasing the number of kilometers each day that they drive. These are our websites and our contact details. We are accessible on these, we are reachable on these email addresses, and we are happy to reply to any queries, any questions that you may have. These are our websites that you can access at any point with details to anything that you might require. If you want any information on DMCs, any restaurants, Indian food options, attractions, anything that you may need that may help us sell New South Wales better, please get in touch with me and I'll be happy to help you. Even if you're looking for collateral, any vivid news, anything that you require, or just want to be on our database, please get in touch with me and I'll be really happy um, to help you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank you all for paying attention and listening to us. And I hope that this webinar has been informative. So thank you very much. Before I end, um, I'd just like to read you through because we're going to have a quiz now. And if you win, you can be eligible to win you can participate, you would probably attend one of our future New South Wales familiarization visits. To be eligible for that, you need to take a test. The link is on your screen right now. You need to take this test before July 15th, 6 p.m. There is an 80% pass percentage and all the questions have been discussed in our presentation. 10 questions with multiple choice answers, so just select the correct one. And for those of you who do not participate or who participate and do not win will still receive a certificate of participation which will be automatically available for download only after you clear the quiz. So clearing the quiz is important for those who want the certificate of participation and for those who are interested in winning a place in one of our future New South Wales familiarization visits. The presentation will also be available later and will be sent across to all of you, so you will have access to it as well. Thank you once again, and yes, have a good evening. Thank you.
That ends an insightful presentation from Ms. Pooja Razdan on Sydney and New South Wales. I'm sure you have all gained valuable insights from the webinar. We are still open to taking questions for the next 10 minutes. Mr. Paramjeet Bawa is still answering queries. A big thank you to all of you from the team at Destination New South Wales. We appreciate the fact that you have taken time off from your busy schedules. We hope that the webinar has been informative and it will help you in enhancing your business interests. Just a gentle reminder, as announced earlier, top 2 travel agents will be taken on a fam trip to Sydney. In order to be eligible for this, you will have to register for the quiz. The quiz will consist of 10 questions and the pass percentage is 80%. You will find the link to the quiz in your chat box. We will also be mailing out the link for the quiz soon. Make sure you complete the quiz before 15 July 2017 6 p.m. Thank you. We are now signing off.